and welcome to another episode of The Best of Both Worlds, a program that is meant for Brazilians and Americans to learn about each other's culture and to get to know each other through shared experiences, businesses, and friendships so that together they can have the best of both worlds. We are so excited today, and good job, Christiane.
Thank you.
Because Christiane scored the most amazing guest today. And I'm happy to say that Cassia, who happens to be a twin, I thought I saw her for the second time the other day, but it was actually her twin that showed up at a brunch.
Right.
And I had met Cassia a few weeks before that at an event. And she's already my new friend. I'm in the process of becoming her client. She's a massage therapist. And Chris is a client of Christiane, and Christiane is a client of Cassia. So we all work and play together, and very exciting. This is not your average, ordinary couple. Cassia is Brazilian. And Chris, where were you born, Chris?
Wakefield, Massachusetts.
Wakefield, Massachusetts, as local as you can get. Very, how far down the road is Wakefield from Gloucester, would you say?
About 20.
About 20 minutes, right? But first of all, we always talk about vision boards.
Yes.
And we talk about romance. And so, Christiane, can you tell the little story of how did Cassia and Chris meet in the first place? Do you know?
Sure, yeah. So we met Cassia at Essencia Group, which is my therapeutic group for Brazilian women. And Cassia showed up and she started doing coaching with me. I became her client. She became my client, as usual. That's how Brazilians do business and friendships and everything. It's all in the same pot. So we met one another and she started being my client, and we usually do the dream list. So I was asking her, like, Cassia, can you just write it down, your dream list? Just dream with any possibilities. Don't put limitations into your dream list. So she made her dream list, and she wanted to get married to an American person. So we put a list. We wrote down a list of characteristics that she was looking for, and she also put it on a vision board. And this is the result. Like, how many years after? 5 years after? No, 4 years after, right? About 4 years you've been married.
Yeah, no, we are married 2 years and a half.
Yeah.
2.5. We are together almost 4 years.
Yeah.
Almost 4 years.
Yes.
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 So
Look at this.
Yeah.
I want someone blonde hair,
Yeah.
blue
Yes.
eyes.
Yes, you were that specific.
Yeah.
And why
What
did you
else?
want an American? And how is he different than what you thought an American boyfriend or husband would be? Tell us what's better and what's worse.
You gotta tell the secrets, okay? No secrets in this
That's
show.
an excellent question. I'm looking forward to the answer.
Because he's a special man.
Yes.
Yes. And hence,
That's so cute.
Yeah.
Was it love at first sight?
I just fall in love the first meet.
Yeah. And how about you? Were you looking for a Brazilian woman, or you were just looking for a special woman?
I was looking for a special woman, that was very much embodies Cassia. However, I did not see it say that. I was very pleasantly surprised when I met her.
That's nice.
She fit the exact model of woman I was.
Awesome. So that's how Brazil got into your life for the first time?
Yes.
So, and what do you think about Brazil? How many times have you been there? I heard a story. Did you guys have 2 wedding ceremonies?
Yeah.
3.
3? Wow.
Two.
Well, 3. Well, one was here, 2 in Brazil.
1 here in Brazil.
That's so nice.
So I've been there twice.
And where in Brazil are you originally from?
I'm from Patos de Minas.
Yep.
Estado de Minas.
So you love the food there, obviously, right?
Yeah, you have no choice but eat a lot of it when you go there.
Right.
So did you go there the first time to get married, or did you go before that?
That was the first.
Yeah. And tell us about that first experience when you first got off the plane and.
Yeah, you know, it was. I was in a whirlwind. Really, it was. There was a lot going on. The first few days wasn't so bad, but once I got to Minas, which is the state in which, it's country. A lot of the people are just
Amazing.
and every
About my
three,
family.
4 day people houses a day. meeting new people.
All
She
her
has a
family.
huge
A
family.
lot of coffee.
Oh my
cheese.
God. And they'd call ahead, of course, to see what I liked. And everyone, and they didn't have to do this, but they catered to everything I wanted. If they were making food, it was what I wanted. I never asked, never even knew what they were doing.
Meatballs
And
every day.
Oh,
everywhere.
wow.
And the barbecue is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite.
Except I heard that you tried to, like, for lack of a better word, twist the Brazilian barbecue with an air fryer. Is that a true story? Did I
We
hear
have done that. And it works pretty good.
So just 1 second. He knows how to do the true Brazilian, but because of the weather here, in New England, it's cold. So tell us, Chris, how do you do the Brazilian barbecue in the winter time when it's snowing outside?
We use the air fryer.
Air fryer.
The air fryer.
And it works.
Now you gotta give us the recipe. We gotta
Yeah.
learn how to do the Brazilian barbecue the American
Yeah.
way.
Brazilians would use an air fryer? Would
No,
they? No,
we don't know how to
He
do it.
learned with
Yeah.
my older brother because
Oh.
he came here in August.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now he knows very well how he can
Yeah.
prepare the barbecue,
Oh,
the Brazilian
nice. That's
barbecue.
just-
And he does it very well.
That's an art.
He's gone to school for it still as well.
But how does I'm curious, how do you do Brazilian barbecue on an air fryer? Give us the recipe. Everybody wants to learn.
I will tell you the preparation
Yes.
is everything, and just it's about and the air fryer cooks it great. You just gotta know when to do the flip, and everything else is the preparation.
Basically, he can't tell you. He'll have to
I
tell you.
Tell the
know, right?
Yeah, it's an
Alright.
ancient family secret.
Right.
They won't let me say anything.
And because he loves
Uh-huh.
and he loved the barbecue in Brazil, we just made one Brazilian barbecue
Yes, yeah, we had one built on our patio.
last
Oh,
year.
wow.
Well, you'll have to come to our house this summer and make barbecue on our deck and show my husband how to do Brazilian barbecue.
Right.
I'll do that. Why
That's
not?
awesome. So now, do you have kids? Or are you planning to have kids in the future?
We have 2 kids,
Yes.
but they have 4.
4 legs each.
Yes. We have a dogs, no kids.
Yes.
Oh,
2
okay.
dogs.
They are just like kids.
They are like
Yes.
we fall in love with them.
Yeah.
And we are very happy with them. I don't know if
Yeah.
you have a
I'm so glad you said that, and it's another topic. I have kids, and it was so much work, and I know a lot of people who are happily married their whole life, and they're like newlyweds. In fact, my cousin, they have big dogs, they have a big farm, they travel all over the world, and the dogs they have to put in the kettle, if you don't want to have kids, it's totally awesome. If you want to live your life with your soulmate and just enjoy that with your dogs, that is a perfectly great choice. And I think it's great that you say that, because a lot of times people feel pressure like, oh, how many kids are you going to have and when, and
Yeah.
it's not for everyone.
Yeah, and talking about food, what
Yes.
we got here today?
Okay, so today you brought one of those things that is American and it's Brazilian,
Right.
Ritz crackers. But what do you call those in Portuguese?
Bolacha de sal.
Bolacha de sal, né?
Yes.
Do you ever say heat?
Ritz? No, I don't think we have this brand, right?
No,
but we
not
have
Ritz.
saltines, all types of
Okay.
brands
Crackers.
and all
Because
types
my
of
father-in-law in
crackers.
Brazil, he always loved Ritz, but it was in Japan, so maybe I just thought they were Brazilian.
Mm.
So what we also have is this peanut butter is actually from Boston. It's from a local place
Oh,
called
wow.
Teddy's
Mhm.
and Everett, and apples. So I don't know have you ever had do you eat apples with peanut butter?
a
Yeah.
lot.
You do.
And now I am learn about
Oh,
because in Brazil we don't.
no, you don't have peanut butter, but you do have what is it called? Paçoca?
Paçoca.
I love that. That's like powdered peanut butter. Have you ever tried that?
I have not.
Next
can
time I see you, I'm going to give you.
introduce
They're
you.
little columns and they're like peanut, and it's a hard column, and you put it around that breaks into like powder.
Really?
It's so delicious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also brought today. I never found this before. 22 years living in the United States, I never found jabuticaba jam. It's like a jam.
with the jabuticaba. I didn't see the label.
Jabuticaba.
That is
Yes.
a Brazilian fruit. Where did you find
So-
that? I gotta
So
try
special.
that.
I found it in a Brazilian
Need to
store
try.
in
Wow.
Somerville.
Wow, I'm gonna try it right now.
You can, yeah,
No, this
please
is from
try
Brazil.
it.
Tell us about the jabuticaba. What kind of fruit is it?
So jabuticaba, it's like in a family of the red fruits, and it looks like a grape. It's a little bit bigger than a grape. It's rounder. Grapes are usually like more oval, at least the ones that we have here, but it's like rounder.
Good.
And inside is just, I think it's very similar to blueberry texture between blueberry and grapes,
So it's exactly
And-
what it tastes like.
right? And
Very good.
Right?
and it's also it's not
Is that
it's
your
not
first time too?
as
I know the
think so.
fruit name, but I don't remember what it
No.
tastes like.
You never
yeah,
had.
it's not
I don't
as
think I have.
sour or as acidic as blueberries or as grape. It's very sweet and meaty and juicy inside. And the beautiful image that I have in my head is like visiting my grandparents from my dad's side in a countryside, and have these huge jabuticaba trees.
Yes.
And the way it's growing the trees, it's very unique because it doesn't have the small branches as the grape. It's just every fruit is attached to the main branches.
They're so close.
And they're very close
Yeah.
together, and they just wrap the big branch.
Beautiful.
So you just climb out and you just scrape the tree, and it will just like fall, all of them all together. It's just
And many people
It's
in
great.
Brazil has tree in
So-
the garden.
right. And in Florida, I know in Florida there's a garden in Florida. I can't remember the name of the city, but they have fruit trees from all over the world, and I heard they have jabuticaba tree. I haven't been there yet, but that's on
That's
my
delicious.
vision board.
That's
and
What
my
about-
dreams.
We planted this tree.
Right.
Why not?
There you go.
We have a
So before I have some other questions, but I want to go back to the original time you met, okay? Because we had talked about some cultural differences between Americans and Brazilians. And when Christiane told the story about if you're kind of interested in someone, you give them a certain thing, which I know you brought with you. So, but before we get to that even, take me back to that first date. So you have this list, right? Where did he show up? Was it online? Was it in the
Oh,
grocery
yes.
store?
We found each other online.
Yep.
Yes.
On Tinder, right?
He told.
Yep.
He found me before in the app. Remember?
And we started talking, and we were having a great time. And then, we matched again
disappeared.
3-4 months later.
Oh, so she disappeared for a few months?
No.
Why did you disappear?
I was taking care of my nephew. Was
Oh.
not.
This is the time working like.
And can I tell you something? I never have a dream to live in America. I came because my nephew. and
it's the
then-
little boy that we had at Rancho. He's
Yes.
so cute. Victor.
And then he just changed my life. Now I don't want to go home
Victor.
anymore.
Wait, no.
So-
Victor is the one. What is your nephew's name?
Clark.
Clark. He's so adorable and so like he looks older than his age.
So tell
Very
the
nice
story.
boy.
Like
Yeah.
so,
So yes.
so your twin sister came in first, and
Yes.
why did you come?
She was here for 2 years before.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, gonna be mom. Crazy. You are alone there, nobody there. And then she told, come here because I have a baby and you can help
Mm-hmm.
What was it like though?
the right
also,
time.
It must be unusual also that you were living in separate countries, being twins. It must have been hard, right?
But she was living in São Paulo for many years. I
Oh.
was living in Belo Horizonte
Okay.
for many
That's where my
years
ex-husband
also.
is from.
Yep.
So were you, and you're a massage therapist, and so is she, and she
she's
explained to me,
massage
Katia and Kasia,
therapist
that
also.
your massage is more aesthetic, and hers more medical. And then Christiane said, so when I get back from Puerto Vallarta, just so you know, I'm not getting a massage in Puerto Vallarta, because when I come back, I want to try the 4-hand massage.
Yeah.
Is that
Yes.
possible? You
Yes.
And were you massage therapist in Brazil, or only when you came here?
No, I started there and then I.
So
And
you-
when I arrived here, I need to learn everything again.
So
Yes.
you came here doing what you love to do. Great. Okay, so
Very
again,
happy.
I love the first date story though. So you're online, and she disappears for a few months. So you didn't like text her, or like you didn't have her
Well,
number.
you know,
or
if
message?
I
not-
gave it a go. She wanted to take a walk. And who am I
Who
to?
knows? It's a numbers game, right?
I
Next.
don't remember that. And then we go out for
How'd you reconnect? You just
We matched again on Tinder.
yes, and
Couple
then
months
he
later.
invited me for go out dinner,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I was with my beautiful dress,
yeah,
Mhm.
my heels.
yeah.
know
What
this
about
story.
you?
Well, I was very much the same as I am right now.
Was with one t-shirt
I had
like
shorts
that
and sandals.
short.
That's what we were talking about. Americans,
And
we are so
Chanelas.
bad.
Guys.
Chris, we go to the grocery store in our pajamas.
And I
Like in
told-
Brazil, have you seen Brazil, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
just don't. No.
How
So-
They
come?
go
But
to
wait, so that's
grocery
the
store in a
only thing
prom
that was
dress.
not on your list was wearing shorts on the
Yes,
first
this
date,
was not
right?
However,
But because his blue eyes.
I don't think so. I think that this, all of a sudden, all she could think about is, what would he want on the date? And I was in her head. So she was like, I got to meet him again and find out why.
Why?
Right.
And then I showed up again in sandals and
Okay.
shorts. And
Again.
another
It's
shirt
a
just like this.
strategy.
Again and again, and I told my friends have shoes and pants. I don't know. Let's see again.
So I just figured, because she kept thinking about me.
Right.
That is great. That is great.
Yes, and the winter arrived. He put,
Okay.
oh,
So,
good.
how soon after you met did
After
COVID
3
hit?
months,
It was so basically it was about 9 months out.
9 months. Yeah,
Okay.
and I was not speaking English.
Oh.
Always in the Google
Our first
Translate.
date was Google Translate.
Oh,
so
wow.
hard for me.
that's interesting. I want to ask you about that
And
because
so hard for
that's
him.
the best way to learn a language
Yes.
is if you have to use it. But
Mhm.
how do you have in the beginning? What did you talk
He
about?
told me history in the song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Read.
Yeah, we go back and forth, and then sometimes I'd talk to her. I said, "Do you understand?" She'd say yes, but she has. So, so there was a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
misunderstandings in the beginning,
No.
but sometimes she's like, "Yeah, but
And I thought, it's okay. I
Yeah.
don't need to understand everything.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And so how long after you met did you know this was the woman you were going to ask?
The first
pretty."
Yeah, it's like my husband, my now husband,
I would,
first date. Yeah, and you also, except for the shorts, you're like,
In
okay, checks out.
In fact, I sang a song to her.
yes.
Which song
And-
did
We have
you
a
send
song.
Yeah.
The first
And
Which
in the
one?
song, it's
Danny
Jane Brown. What a
Birdie. And
So,
in this song, he
yeah.
said, I will change your name.
yeah. So in the song, that's one of the lyrics. What if I change your name?
Oh.
So we
Now, I
sang
am
this
not-
to her.
And did you pick up on the signal when he sent you that song?
Mm-hmm.
That's
So
so
I'm
great.
not Cassia Marcus anymore. I am Miriam.
That's
Very
so
nice.
nice.
Yeah.
Now,
And I'm very
but-
happy.
let's talk about let's talk about reality day to day. It's
Mm-hmm.
all romantic. You look like you just met. You're all in love. But tell me about challenges that you have because you're Brazilian and you're American. What obstacles did you have to get over, or do you still have to?
I think she has more than me. I'm pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
So I guess one of the things I think is, I don't know if it's her trait, something she learned in her family or is a Brazilian, but she's, very detailed. I've heard Brazilians as a whole are very detail oriented. Now,
Yeah.
I actually am most detail oriented, I was military,
Yeah.
but nothing compared to her.
Right.
And every little thing, it's like, wait, that's in the wrong spot. This is supposed to go like this, and this is supposed to be like that.
Oh,
And
wow.
for me, I'm more laid back, and I don't know if this is a
Right.
personality trait or Brazilian.
No,
thing.
actually, I think
But I've
those are
heard it's a
more rare
Brazilian
qualities with Brazilians, right? I think Brazilians are more like.
Well, I think you're saying more like towards the house. I know because I've been to their house.
More formal.
Yeah, more formal, exactly.
Yeah.
More formal.
Yeah,
Yes,
more
we,
yeah,
we wanted
yeah.
everything to be in place.
Yeah.
We
That's
we
why
receive
you're not
has its
coming to
place
my
and everything.
house till May because I have to have her friend Andrea is coming into my house cleaning and organizing the whole thing because I've been working so much the last few months and that's the great thing too having Brazilians in my life again. My standards go up. I think when you say detail, part of what you're talking about too is like dressing up when you go out,
Yes.
right? And for
Always
example,
look-
using
yeah.
your fork, even to use it, or when you have a sandwich, use a paper around it.
But
What about
as I
pizza?
say this,
Yes.
you're right. But also one of the things I had thought about when I was looking for a woman, the woman that I was looking for was
Yeah.
somebody who would make
Oh, that's awesome!
Who
So
would
it
make-
makes you a better
Oh,
person.
see?
who would make me, because if you're just by yourself, sometimes you can get lax. And you say, let those standards go. And I've always tried to keep myself to high standards. And as you get older,
Yeah.
it's easier to let go. And I
That's
said,
right.
you know, it'd be great if I had a partner and we keep each other at higher
Well, and-
standards and,
and
help
you-
each other grow.
You
There
went
you
from
go.
not knowing anything about Brazil, knowing any Brazilians, and now your mission in life, you're helping a lot of Brazilians with
Yes.
your career, right? So talk about what you do for a living, and you're both entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
And by the way, we are very big proponents of that. If you want to be solid, financially free, and make a lot of money and have owning your own business and owning what you do for yourself is the way to go, right? So talk about, you know, what you were doing before you met Katya and what you're doing now for
Well,
your
Like I said, I worked in solar, and actually when I first met Chris, you know, there was a lot of this
That's right,
discussion.
you met her. Wait,
Well,
you
I met her
That's right.
through Cassia.
That's right.
Yeah, I was
But-
Cassia's life coach, and
Yeah.
then I was Chris' life
Yeah,
coach.
and
But
one
I
of the things she
remind you,
actually helped me.
not many men
Yeah.
know that everybody who wants to be really successful needs a life coach, and she's a therapist, which is very helpful. But I wanted to ask you that question too, but I interrupted you. So again, what is your career and how has it changed the focus?
Yes. So right now, I'm general manager of a home solar company based right out here in Gloucester.
And Gloucester,
Gloucester,
yes,
wow.
which is
Yes.
great because you're
Right.
kind of local, which is
I'm
awesome.
3 minutes down the road. And so how it all came about was I was working for another company back, you know, and I wanted to go, you know, I'm going to be on my own. And I worked with Chris to kind of work out, you know, that strategy, and I did that. And lo and behold, very short order, I was doing work for a company, and they said, well, what, buy your company.
Oh wow!
So immediately, in very short order, they
that was
bought the
after
company.
you started working with Chris,
Yeah.
right? See, it worked. Coaching worked.
Yeah, and then part of the deal was they had made me the general manager executive of this
Oh,
company
nice.
as well. So now I run a local company here. I work part of an executive team, also works on strategy national as well. But what I did as when I first opened my company, you know, I was really looking around trying to find, you know, good, solid hard workers, and you know, I ended up
Brazilians, right?
finding a lot of Brazilians that were really looking into solar as a great opportunity. And it's not that I didn't want to hire Americans.
No, but you're
But one thing I found with Brazilian rigs, both very hard workers, but they really focus in on opportunity, growth, being in a place that they can growth. I
Yep.
think in a lot of American
They
work, is it
appreciate-
comes, it's so, it's
we
taken
take it for granted, right? We
right?
got lazy. We
Yeah.
get so
Yeah.
entitled, right?
So I've had a lot of great American hard workers that were American work for me, but it's just there's not many people who really can go out and say, I want that opportunity. For Americans, it's
You know,
really
that's
there
a
for
really
everyone. You know,
good that you're putting it out there, honestly,
Yeah.
because I think we're losing our edge a lot of times too, because we don't realize we were all immigrants. But
Mhm.
like you said, we get comfortable and we're losing our edge.
Yeah.
And so you're helping the community have more opportunities, but you're also doing well for your business.
right? And,
Yeah.
and when they purchased my company, I had brought those crews to help to work for local in Gloucester.
And
Also, a lot of the jobs we have now, those crews.
And something that I want to add to, like we had in the past, I don't know, in the past decade, we had a lot of Haitian people coming to Brazil. And like every time, like someone, I think once you get the guts to leave your country, to leave the comfort zone of your country, you have something special in you that you want to like make your standard higher.
Yeah.
So I would say like if someone goes to Brazil, they'll probably work harder and make more effort to impress because they don't have anything to lose. They already left their country, so they're looking for a better opportunity. So I would say like Brazilians who never left Brazil or they have their own jobs, they could be just compared as Americans living here. You know, they're in a comfortable zone. You know, this is my country. I try to do, you know, I'll do whatever it takes, but not working as hard. And I think this is a characteristic of any immigrants. It's not only Brazilians, but I would say anybody who had the guts to leave the country and to work and look for better opportunities, they'll do the extra job, like the over delivery, as the
Yeah.
Americans
I
would
think
say.
you're probably right, but I also think there is still something really special about Brazilians. And would you agree? Like we were talking about this. A lot of times, you ask someone what they know about Brazil: bikinis, beach. But they don't realize though what you and I realize, which is so much power. Brazilians they've had electronic banking forever. You know, they have a very sophisticated culture with dining and right and there is something about Brazilians that are here that have a lot of energy and, like you said, initiative. And you know, like your husband, he's very detail oriented with his painting and the perfectionist. So yeah, so
Like me.
yes, like you too. Yes, like you. And so tell me, your perspective, Katia, how much of your life together would you say you're hanging out with Brazilians, hanging out with Americans? It's kind of a mix. And talk about,
Of course, I've made friends with quite a few Brazilians that I work with, and did not meet through her. Met myself. So have them over for dinner too, and of course, I usually like going out with my friends because I
Right.
understand the conversation. And I bring Brazilians over, I still don't understand the conversation, but it makes it a little easier.
Now, are you gonna learn Portuguese?
What it is I work quite a bit. I work a lot, and I
Yep.
keep making an initiative, but
Yep.
it's no excuse.
Eventually.
I haven't been able. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah, it does.
So I do pretty well with some basics. When I go down there to Brazil, I do much better
You
because
try.
I'm
Yeah.
surrounded by
Yep.
it, so I remember a lot more. But if I'm not engrossed in it, immersed in it,
Right.
I
If
forget,
you're open to it, it's good though, as long as you're open to it.
Yeah, no, I do better. I'm doing
Yeah.
better than I always do a little better, but I could be speaking fluently. But I have
With
to
my
take
family,
steps.
he's bença, bença for my mom. He asked bença for my grandma. They like him.
I think he might need a drop.
Oh, that's the story we're gonna tell. So hold on.
I need
I
to
can
So
go.
help
here's
you.
we want to hear
Look
about
at
the
this.
magic moment, okay?
Yes.
So now, I got to be honest. When Christiane told me that when a Brazilian first meets another Brazilian, a sign that things are moving towards like the first kiss is the halls. And when she told me that, I felt kind of weird because I don't know about you, Chris, but for me, when someone's handing me halls,
you.
I'm thinking
I
one
know
of
where
us
you're
is
going.
really sick and has a cold.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
let's-
my first thing
tell
is
us
when
your
she offered me a
strategy.
halls
Tell us-
when I first met her. I didn't
This is
understand
thank
why I was
you.
getting
I'm sick.
cough medicine. I was feeling
Okay.
just
I'm
fine.
sick.
No, but this is the first time I'm gonna try a halls when I'm not sick. So tell us,
After my Miko, now I learn about it.
so now you tell us, what is the halls? What was the meaning and how did you
In
like?
Brazil, you usually have a house, and in our first we go out with friends, with boyfriend, and then when you have a food, something like pizza and have onion, why not have one house and you can have a nice feast?
Right.
In Brazil, this is natural, but not here. And for me, when I start dating, go out with him, I just bring some with me, and I gave people some candies like that. And I just learned about it because I was working in one office, and I always like one candy for my friend, my coworker, and she never had candy. Oh no! And one day I asked, "You don't like it?" Eat. And they, oh, okay. And then when I figure out this is for cold and
Cough and throat.
cough
It's
and
so
throat.
cute because I'm for the first time I'm trying to experience the halls as not something we have a cold. I'm thinking, yeah, this could be like better. There's like a mint, right?
That's what you're into.
So like when she first gave you the halls,
That's what
were
you like.
you like wondering what she was doing, or?
There's
is-
absolutely no idea why she gave me a halls.
But I didn't change my way. I
And I
still
said,
have my
"Why?"
house.
I think
So I'm gonna
I think
try
I
that.
asked, and I think she said, "Oh, just for the mint."
Kachi, give me one to take home for my husband, okay?
More.
And he's gonna say, I'm not sick. What are you doing? We didn't even get COVID, thank God, so far. Knock on wood.
Right, right.
Knock on wood.
But okay, so now we're gonna ask you a tough question. When was the first time you had a fight? After, did you ever have a
Oh, yes.
disagreement? Yeah.
Right?
I broke
What
up
happened?
with him some.
And I broke with her.
You broke up with your dream man?
Yeah,
Actually,
because
I don't recall her
him.
breaking up with me.
I love
recall her
this.
breaking up with
This is
her.
so great. You were trying to wait your dream man, but you had to fix him. Okay, that was what I was going to
I
ask.
don't
What
think that
was
happened
it?
the way you're talking
Wait a
about it.
minute. We know he's perfect now, but what was it that you thought could use a little?
Because yes, I told him, oh, I am looking for a handsome man like you, but I want to have family and I want to have kids. And he told, but what the words you can't understand me? Understand his English. I was learning English.
Yep.
And then he told, I can marry you. I can have family. We can have family. You can have kids if you want. And then, oh, now I understand better.
I had to be very blunt. I think she didn't understand because the way I said it is I don't feel like I have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a necessity.
Mm-hmm.
But if you'd like to have children, I love kids, we can have children. But I don't think she understood that.
So
she
you thought
wanted
he
a
didn't
yes
want to
or a
have
no.
kids. So that's
Yeah.
when you decided you needed someone that also wanted to have kids. But now you don't want to have kids.
I changed because I bought a dog.
I love that though. You're willing to change your opinion. So you still might decide to have kids, but probably not.
Yes, we changed
Well,
later.
I mean, it could happen. Really.
I
Yeah.
love that because
Yeah.
if it
Keep
happens,
trying.
We're
But-
all,
So
you're
I guess
still
if
open
it's
to
not our
the
dream.
Not against it. We're
not
not
your
looking.
It's not
if
our
I
this-
love that. And you
If-
know
yeah.
what? If
just
you
be
do have a
relaxed
kid,
about it. Yeah.
it'll be the right time and the right place for the right reason. And if you don't, you already are having a fabulous life. So that's
Yeah.
great. So were you pretty impressed that
Yeah.
you changed your mind? But when you said you broke up, how did you break up with him? Did you text him? Did you just stop
So
showing
sure,
up?
this is completely accurate.
You ghosted him?
He goes to me. He sent me a small text like this.
So I-
Small text.
The way the first discussion happened,
Right.
it was very challenging,
Mhm.
and I
Give us
I
an
was,
insight.
I forget the exact words that were said, but I didn't really understand what she was saying. I was kind of insulted by the way
Well,
she
did
was
you feel
putting
kind
it.
of pressured? Like she was saying, we need to have kids, and you're like,
I think that it was more or less like, relax. We just met a couple months ago.
right, right. But also, that's not Brazilian American. That's a
It's
man
the
woman
Brazilian
thing.
intensity, like
And
the
women
women
too,
intense,
Americans,
right?
same
We just
thing.
want to.
And she
Definitely,
liked
yeah.
you, and she's like putting it out
Well, I
there.
did too, and I kept saying, like, for me,
Right.
I was like, if you really shouldn't even be thinking about
But
marriage
you,
for
but
3
you
years.
saw her right away,
Right.
knew
You know?
she was the one. I'm just saying.
Well, right, but time will tell, right?
Yep.
The thing is I guess what I can say is, I've just always felt so marriage, it can be a beautiful thing, but it doesn't. Taking the vow in front of everyone to me isn't necessary. What's necessary is that I commit myself.
Beautiful.
Commits myself to
Yes,
herself to
And
me.
still, you
Okay.
did it you did
So
vows
to me,
three
it's like-
times.
Exactly,
What's that?
exactly. But he changed his opinion because he got married
Three
3
times.
weddings already,
Yes, of
and
course.
they're planning
so
their
great.
next
So-
wedding.
So for me, the actual
Anniversary.
ceremony wasn't all. Didn't have to,
Right.
but it was important to her, so not a
Yeah.
problem.
That's so
But
nice.
that was such a hard. We didn't really understand each
Right
other.
in the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And now
But
you're on the same
now-
page.
And which of you cooks, or both of you? And do you eat Brazilian food, American food, Japanese food? Like, what's the main thing going on at your house?
Well, so I have Italian in my. I like out,
Yep.
so we do that a lot.
I like to out for everything.
But she makes
At
a lot
home.
of stuff. She makes
A lot of
Brazilian,
chicken
lots of
with
chicken,
tomato,
lots of healthy.
mush.
You like
she,
to
she
cook?
does a great
Yes.
job. I will cook.
You're a barbecuer.
I'd much rather be at the
Yes,
barbecue.
he's doing barbecue very well,
Yeah.
but he does his eggs.
Eggs?
And she, I have to ask her. Can I make your eggs? Usually, no.
I prefer I make for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how long were you apart before you realized? Okay, like so you so wait.
Couple
So
weeks.
so you felt a little pressure.
Mhm.
So then you wrote her a text.
Well, the text, after a couple of weeks, I'm like, this is silly because I knew that I liked her. And I really did think that, this is we had something we have something good
Right.
here.
And were you
It's
crying?
nowhere to- I wasn't
Were you crying?
Oh, sorry. No, she doesn't cry.
I am
I
just
know.
looking for her
Kirsten,
because
she's the best at getting the secrets. Like, I don't know if you watched the show that she got my gratitude jars and she was opening in front of everybody. I'm like, I'm not even know what I wrote here like 2 years ago.
Mm.
So,
But she's strong.
so
She's-
couple
she's
weeks you're
strong.
far away.
Couple
yeah.
weeks.
Yeah.
But who who stopped talking first?
I think we had the conversation. I just stormed out of her house.
Right.
yeah.
And then, but you weren't crying. You were just like, okay. You were just
No.
No,
cool.
she doesn't really cry.
No.
She's strong.
That's okay.
Very strong.
She's an
Very true.
optimist, and she
No,
just
if
knows
she-
things
if
will be
she-
fine.
If she is upset, you'll never know.
Mhm.
You'll never know.
Well,
Wow.
I can tell something about Cassia. Cassia, she's very energetic, very similar here with my friend Kirsten. I don't know what happens to my friends, but they all, like, we have a saying in Brazil, like, when a person is above the curve, if someone says, Chris, who's your friend who's above the curve? I'm like, say, Cassia and Kirsten.
Oh, thank you.
Because they're above the average. They have so much energy, and I get tired just to listen to their routines. Okay, so yeah,
Nice.
Cassia is above the curve, and you finally decided to get again. And like, this is silly. Like, why we're fighting over something so
Oh, wait,
little?
that's right. Were you already the life coach of each one at the
Yes,
time?
I was
Oh, that
the
is so great.
Yes.
So you were hearing both of them. Okay, so now we just need to hear, without going too many personal details, did you help them kind of like?
No, I remember when Cassie's like, Chris, this is a deal breaker for me because I wanted to have a family, and he's undecisive, and I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm willing to take away this dream of mine.
Right.
And then for a long time they were debating, do we have it, do we don't, what should we do, and la da da. But like, as every couple and every relationship, sometimes it's just the time. Sometimes it's just anxious to make to stand up for ourselves, like, should we do this, should we go this path or that path? And sometimes you just have to relax a little bit, give some time, because things will change.
Yeah.
Time will come. And
That's
and
pretty much
things-
how I am as a
Mhm.
person. Like I always feel like, live and let live. You have your agenda, you have your goals, you work towards something, but
yeah.
sometimes in life,
Mhm.
I guess the best way to put it, life is going to tell you a lot of times how
Right,
it's going to
That's
be.
really great.
Right.
And if you try to go against the grain, sometimes it's worse. So I've
Yeah.
learned that, if my destiny is to have 2 kids, that's going to happen.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to go rush out, kill myself trying to do it. Yeah, work towards it. But for me, it's
Right.
like her and is, all right, I got this check.
Right.
And, excuse me, I got about 90 minutes. And I'm like, 90 minutes? How about like 3 years?
Exactly.
funny.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Cassia is above the curve, and she wants everything.
Yeah.
And that's why it's good to learn about your personality profile, because you learn each other's, and you try to compromise.
Yeah, and one more thing before we switch over. I really appreciate you because my grandmother and my grandfather were like newlyweds till the day that and I finally, my second marriage, I found my soulmate. But when it was the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, when my grandmother worked, my grandfather adored her, and she would be gone for 10 minutes, and he'd say like, when's your grandma getting back? And they had 2 daughters, but he always told his daughters, your mother comes first. I love you, but you're only here because of my love for your mother. And the love that comes first is our love, and yours is. And so that's really hard because we're in a society where everyone tries to compete to do everything for their kids. But guess what? The marriage suffered because when you try to be the super mom or the super dad, and you're sacrificing everything for your kid, guess what? My kids are now
They're
30
gonna
and
leave.
31. They grow up, they do their own thing, and then you're left with this person, and you have nothing in common. So if you don't have kids, you too, are going to be happy for their stuff. And if you do, still, your love is just going to be extended, not diminished by having kids. That's really important.
We appreciate having you here, and I'm
Yeah.
very happy.
And we look forward to,
I just
Yes.
want to say one more thing.
Yeah.
yes, whatever you want to
Chris
say.
helped a lot in the beginning our relationship because Chris has his whole routine. What you wanna?
Routine? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. You
to
had your own
do
list too,
what
right?
time he wanna go in the bed, and my time was different time.
Who's the early person? Who's the late person?
I go to bed early,
Yeah.
but I get up early. We
Yeah.
both get up. See, I have regimens that I have been following for decades.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're a
And-
little organized too, boy. You guys would not want to live with
It-
me.
it-
Just
it-
come for
yeah.
dinner. And
It
that's
keeps me healthy. I make sure I get 7 hours of sleep every day.
good for you.
I get all these little things that I make sure, and
Right.
it helps me get through the day,
Right,
the week.
Right, that's
helps
important.
helps me have the
Your
energy to do
mindset.
the things I want to do. She burns the candle at both ends,
Right.
and she'll work 17 hours, then
Like, man.
then get 3 hours, 4 hours of sleep, do it all again.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she'll do that for a couple weeks. Then I gotta stop because she'll burn herself.
That's like my
She'll-
husband with me when we first met. I was famous for only sleeping like 4 hours a night, and he said to me, "If you're gonna date me, you have to sleep at least 6 hours, and on weekends, I don't care if you're where." And so he like put that line down, and it was good because I learned. Now I get by with 6 hours of sleep, but I need to have 6. And and I appreciate. I used to say, "Oh, I can sleep when I'm dead," but no, sleep is fundamental. If you don't
It
sleep,
is.
so is she
It's
sleeping
life.
more now than she used to because of you?
Yes,
Yeah,
I learn with him.
that's important,
Yes.
Well, the thing is, it's health. It's
It
very-
is, it
I mean,
is.
Sleep is
And
absolutely
it impacts you.
necessary.
If
for
It
she's
the
going to
health,
be with
you
you,
know.
you want her to live a long time.
Well,
She's gonna
yeah,
stick around.
I need 9 hours of sleep.
Oh, good for you. Well, we really appreciate you coming on the show today, and we
Yes,
look
we're very
forward
happy.
to being your friend and
Thank
continue to
you.
do business together
Mhm.
so that we always have, right, the best,
The best of both worlds. Yay! Então, sejam todos bem-vindos ao nosso programa O Melhor dos Dois Mundos. Esse programa é desenhado para brasileiros e americanos que querem aprender um pouquinho da cultura, né, um de cada país, e que seja através de amizades, de parcerias de negócios e até mesmo de experiências compartilhadas, como a gente está fazendo aqui. Então, hoje a gente está muito feliz, a gente está recebendo 2 convidados aqui muito especiais, a Cássia e o Chris Macmillan. É um prazer, a gente está assim, muito, muito, muito feliz, e a gente sabe que é um casal, né, diversificado. A
e
Cássia é
Chris-
brasileira e o Chris é americano.
Cristiane,
Uhum.
você tinha algo a ver
Uhum.
com o, como se chama, primeiro encontro deles.
Sim,
Conta
sim.
o que aconteceu.
Tá,
Não foi
então.
coincidência, não, né? que
Não, não, não.
Foi
não.
planejado.
Então, foi
Planejada.
planejada. Então,
Foi
a Cássia.
Desenhado.
Isso.
Sim.
Eu
divina.
conheci, nós conhecemos, né? Eu e a Cássia nos conhecemos num encontro terapêutico para mulheres, né? O Grupo Essência, que eu e a Marcela lideramos. E a Cássia apareceu lá nesse programa. E a gente fez sorteios, enfim, ela ganhou uma sessão comigo. E aí ela me deu uma massagem. A Cássia é esteticista. E aí a gente se tornou cliente uma da outra. E aí eu falei assim, olha, Cássia, primeira sessão, ok? A gente vai fazer a lista dos seus sonhos, a lista dos desejos. Eu não quero que você pense em nenhum obstáculo. Simplesmente pega um papel e um lápis, coloquei uma música de fundo e a Cássia começou a escrever. E dentro desses sonhos, que a gente transforma sonhos em metas realizáveis, estava aí o casamento. Ela queria conhecer uma pessoa americana. Então, e aí a gente fez uma lista, né, de como seria essa pessoa americana e colocou também no Mural dos Sonhos.
E escuta, Kátia.
Cássia.
Cássia tem uma gêmea
Sim.
que é igualzinha.
Exatamente.
Que chama
É
Kátia.
só outra pergunta que eu ia perguntar se ele, quando vocês estão juntas, se é difícil
Honey, she
perceber.
asked if when Kat and me we are together, you are
No,
Not
but
anymore.
well, if I see their face, no. But when they work together at
The
the spa, in the
Same
house,
uniform, yeah.
the same uniform, they turn around. There was one time I actually walked into the room and I started changing my shirt, and I thought it was Cassia there because Katya, it was actually Katya, and her back was to me.
cara começou a
And
trocar
Katya started
roupa.
laughing, saying, "I'm not Cassia."
Então,
Ok,
Cássia,
só
sim.
traduzindo. Então, o que aconteceu é que a Kirsi acabou de perguntar se o Chris confunde as irmãs, e ele falou que já aconteceu quando elas estão em uniformes, né, de trabalho, de esteticista, E uma vez ele chegou no quarto e as duas estavam de costas, enfim. E aí, se tiver de costas, ele não consegue saber quem é quem. E aí ele começou a tirar a roupa dele na frente da irmã da Cássia. Mas, Cássia, conta de novo pra
Sim,
nós o
sua
que
lista.
estava na sua lista e no seu mural dos sonhos.
Exatamente.
Que tipo de homem você estava procurando?
A Cris, né, foi uma grande colaboradora de ter encontrado o meu homem dos sonhos. E eu desenhei direitinho lá. Foi um desenho que ela exatamente todos os desenhos que eu fiz, eu concretizei. A licença, trabalho. Eu coloquei no meu quadro dos sonhos que eu queria encontrar uma pessoa que eu pudesse apresentar para a família, ter o almoço de domingo.
Que bom.
Então eu queria ter uma família. E fui tendo as minhas oportunidades. A gente viu online e foi onde nós nos
Quanto tempo
conhecemos.
depois que você fez a lista apareceu o...
Eu acredito que deve ser uns 3, 4 meses depois.
Então você usou um aplicativo, né?
Usamos um aplicativo de
encontros, de
encontros.
dates. Aham.
Mas quando vocês se conheceram, você gostou do primeiro visto, mas você sumiu?
Então, ele
Não, mas-
conta
Aham.
que a gente já tinha se visto no aplicativo antes. Eu não me lembro disso. Ele se lembra disso. Que a gente se encontrou e que eu desapareci alguns dias e depois nos encontramos novamente.
Aham.
E foi muito rápido, porque como a minha irmã estava morando aqui 2 anos, ela acabou de ter um bebê, eu não tinha muito tempo de ficar nos aplicativos nem saindo com alguém. Eu estava super ocupada
taking
com
care
meu
of her little
sobrinho.
nephew back on the way.
Exatamente. Por isso, quando a gente se encontrou novamente, foi tudo muito rápido. Ele logo me convidou para sair, a gente coincidiu de dar certo, saímos para o primeiro date.
E conta como é que foi o primeiro date.
Sim.
A primeira
Well, we're gonna
impressão,
talk about how
né?
you
Porque a primeira
addressed your first date.
impressão
Sim.
conta,
Yes.
gente.
Sim,
E aí,
como
o que
foi?
aconteceu?
E aí, nós, como brasileiras, a gente quer estar bem apresentável,
Sim.
coloca aquele vestido tubinho preto com um salto alto. E aí você imagina que a pessoa vai estar, vestido
She's all dressed
compatível.
up for you.
E de repente chega, um rapaz bonito,
Good
handsome
looking
man.
butt.
E aí no meu sonho eu coloquei que eu queria, conhecer um homem americano, loiro, olhos azuis,
Blue eyes, blonde hair, yeah.
blue eyes.
But you didn't say shorts.
No with shorts and sandals.
I was comfortable.
E ele, porque era verão e todo americano, fica
Yeah.
mais descontraído, então ele me chega, primeiro encontro, de camiseta polo, bermuda e chinelos.
E você ficou um pouquinho
Sandals.
decepcionada nesse momento.
Eu fiquei,
Pouquinho.
uau.
E Chris,
Mas ele foi super simpático, super querido, já me conquistou.
e depois quanto tempo que você que caiu a ficha que isso foi o homem para você?
Nos primeiros encontros, porque a gente saiu num domingo, numa terça a gente já encontrou novamente, uma quarta a gente
Sunday and then
Yes.
Friday, and then you started
Keep
thinking,
Sundays, Tuesday and Wednesday. Por isso, eu vi que ia dar certo. Apesar dele sempre estar forte
Sim.
nelas.
É a atitude dele, né? His attitude,
Exatamente.
né? O desejo, né, de estar com você.
Sim.
Isso, então fez toda a diferença, né? O esforço.
A gente não... E desde o primeiro encontro, ele me apresentou uma música, a nossa música do Kane Brown.
essa música.
Worries. E na letra da música fala que I will change your name. Eu vou mudar o seu nome.
E você gostou dessa?
And I love it.
And so I'm thinking, Chris, you play her a song that you're going to change your name, but then she mentions children and you freak out. I'm like, wait a minute, you're the one that. But anyway.
But the thing is, that's where the misconception. I wasn't freaking out.
Oh, okay.
There was the immense pressure of immediate action.
Okay.
Wow, very close. The visual right here is definitely the woman of my dreams. So we'll see how she is, and then I got to meet her and personality, and the funniest thing is even with language barrier, and we were doing everything through the Google Translate.
And hang on one second, she's going to translate this. for
Right,
everyone.
right. Então, o Chris está falando que quando ele conheceu a Cássia e ele amou ela, né, achou ela muito linda, E aí ele falou assim, poxa vida, ela tá ali na minha lista, assim, né? É tudo que eu estava esperando de uma mulher. Então, ele ficou apaixonado logo e, né, apesar dos encontros aí com a língua, né? Eles estavam sempre usando o tradutor Google, né, nos primeiros encontros.
Eu perguntando, quantos filhos vocês têm ou terão?
Quantos filhos? A gente não tem filhos, a gente tem 2 cachorros.
Que bom.
Nossos
E fala sobre essa que vocês
E a
falaram.
gente
Tinha um
decidiu,
desencontro no começo. né?
no começo eu queria ter filho por mais uma pressão da sociedade. Ah, porque casou tem filho. E a minha irmã gêmea tem filho, ela achou que eu teria que ter. Então, por pressão dela, falei pro Cris que eu queria ter filho. Mas nunca foi meu sonho. Quando eu comprei o meu cachorro, eu desisti de ter o filho. Depois eu comprei mais um cachorro. Estamos super bem, a gente
Você tinha coragem de fazer isso.
estabilizada.
Mas você achou que queria um filho? E então falou com ele. E
Por
como
muito
ele
tempo você ficou
respondia?
indecisa.
Eu
Precisa,
tinha
né?
um desejo bem pequeno de ter o filho. Tanto é que se ele vier hoje, será muito bem-vindo. Mas Deus conhece nossos sonhos, sabe que a gente precisa, assim. Se não vier, tá tudo certo. Se vier, ok, a gente tem amor, mas...
Mas no começo, quando você estava falando sobre isso, ele falou, eu não quero alguma coisa. Você ficou revoltada,
eu
ficou
fiquei
decepcionada.
achando que ele não era o homem da minha vida.
Thought you weren't the right man
Yes.
when that conversation happened about children in the beginning, right?
Yes.
And you can explain, and she'll put it into Portuguese. When you heard, because you gave her a song saying, I'm going to change your name. So you already saw her as a future wife. But when she mentioned children to you, what was your first feeling?
Well, so for me, at the time, and I never felt like children wasn't off the table. But I basically said to her is, I love children, but it's not something I feel like I have to, right? Because again, life brings us whatever life brings us, right? So for me, knowing, like I said, life will tell you.
Right.
Sim.
So
yes.
life has a plan for me. That's great.
Let's do
But
that.
at that moment, you think
Então-
also there was maybe a
But-
language
well, there was-
barrier?
she wasn't really understanding because at that time I think she wanted to either hear a yes.
Uhum.
I gave her the long-winded.
Então, o Chris está falando que ele fez uma declaração de amor para Cássia e enviou uma música para ela. E a letra da música dizia assim: eu vou mudar o seu nome. Ou seja, ele estava pronto para ter uma família, para casar com a Cássia e via ela como uma esposa. Só que a Cássia
Interpretou
tinha
errado.
sonhos também de ter filhos, né, Cássia? E aí, quando você falou assim, tá, e os filhos? Aí ele falou assim, opa, mas peraí, o que aconteceu? Né, eu amo você, quero estar com você, mas eu não preciso necessariamente ter filhos. Se o filho vier, vai ser como uma consequência. Eu não tenho essa necessidade de ter filhos. E aí foi o primeiro desencontro de vocês, porque você falou assim,
ele foi embora.
se eu queria ter filho.
E passou 3 semanas sem falar, mas
Acredito,
eu
3
perguntei,
semanas.
você chorou e
Não
você não
chorei,
chorou, não?
mas quando eu estava no encontro com a Cris...
E ela já era
mulheres-
cliente dela também nessa
Não,
época?
só
era,
era, só a
não.
Cássia.
Não, foi depois que a gente...
You weren't her client yet. we're saying.
Yes. Eu lembro direitinho que eu estava no encontro com a Cris, cheio de mulheres lá. Eu recebi um texto gigantesco desse rapaz, falando, né? Eu caso com você, eu tenho família com você, eu tenho filhos com
Oh,
você,
so
cachorro
you
com
texted
você.
your real feelings in
Yep.
that text.
Right.
Aí
so I think it
depois,
worked
Wow.
because then.
então depois ele falou assim que não fazia sentido, tipo assim, a gente já gostava, não fazia sentido ter essa briga, né, esse desencontro. E que a vida
E
ia
você
mostrar.
guardou
Mas
esse
não-
texto? Você tem essa mensagem ainda
Yes.
guardado? Ai, bonito.
I think
She
it
has
took-
that text message saved.
Eu tenho a mensagem.
Yeah. Well, I think what the text message was able to do is put that in the translation, more straightforward understanding of what I was saying, because for me, like we're not too far in this, and I'm not someone who like, and I'm being pressured about kids. I'm like, all right, how about we wait till we're dating 6 months? But I found later that it is very common in Brazil to move quick. In America,
Então,
it's
o que o
not.
Chris está falando é que a Cássia, quando ela propôs a questão da família, ele ficou um pouco assustado e aí eles teve esse desencontro. Quando eles voltaram, aí o Chris que percebeu e falou assim, gente, eu gosto muito dela, eu não preciso dar uma resposta agora, mas ela é a mulher da minha vida. Então, se ela quer ter filho, eu vou abrir mão e vou seguir a vida, né? Então, ele deu um passo para trás, né? A gente está falando aí sobre reconciliação. Então ele decidiu que ele estaria aberto se era para fazer ela feliz e que eles queriam estar juntos.
É importante porque muitas pessoas, depois de casar, ficam obcecados ou enfocados demais nos filhos, nas crianças,
Sim,
e
sim.
deixa a
Esquece.
esposa atrás, né?
Uhum.
A coisa boa é que eles sabem que eles vêm primeiro. E depois, se tiver um filho, vai ser muito amado, mas o amor deles vem primeiro. E o filho vai sentir o amor, que é a fonte. Se tiver, se não, tem cachorros e
Está
vocês
tudo
vão
bem.
viajar, né? Brincar.
E aí, olha só que interessante, né? Era só a questão também, uma diferença cultural, né, Cássia?
Exatamente.
Os brasileiros, a gente tem um pouco mais de ansiedade, a gente quer mover as coisas um pouquinho mais rápido. E acho que tem a ver também o ser homem e mulher, né? Mulher é mais ansiosa, a gente é mais
Sim.
agitada, né? E o homem é mais...
E a
sei lá,
gente quer
mais...
saber, a gente vai fazer fila, senão deixa eu...
Exato.
Sim.
Então houve desencontro aqui na maneira, foi quando o Chris colocou por escrito, ele falou assim, se ela colocar no tradutor, ela vai entender melhor a mensagem. Mas olha só, gente, que bacana essa história. Ele não queria ter filho, enfim, teve esse desencontro. Mas aí, o que aconteceu, Cássia? Quantas vezes vocês já se casaram?
Nós casamos aqui há 2 anos atrás, na América, em plena pandemia.
Uhum.
E depois a gente foi ao Brasil. 5 dias e a gente ficou com a ideia de casar de novo com a família.
E quem é que fez questão de casar no Brasil?
O marido fez questão de casar no Brasil, porque minha família não pôde vir participar.
Aham.
Ele falou, eu faço questão de ir lá conhecer a sua família, celebrar somente.
E o que ficou faltando?
E ficou faltando um detalhe. No sonho dele, ele queria que tivesse um cavalo.
Ah,
A horse. The
horse,
wedding.
you want a horse?
Yes.
E com muitos preparativos para eu me preocupar, eu não me preocupei com o cavalo ano passado.
Imagine preparando um casamento dos Estados Unidos lá no Brasil.
Uau.
Exatamente. E o casamento foi num sítio maravilhoso. Poderia ter tido o cavalo, mas eu não dei real atenção ao sonho dele. Achei que era uma brincadeira. Quando a gente se casou e não teve o cavalo, ele falou, meu sonho, eu queria ter entrado no cavalo. Eu falei, oh my goodness. Então, nesse ano, a gente foi ao Brasil novamente. E a minha cunhada ia fazer um churrasco pra gente. Ele adora barbecue. He loves. E aí, eu falei com ela, uma vez que a gente tá indo pro sítio, pra ter um churrasco com vocês, tal a gente preparar uma surpresa pro Chris.
Que bom.
E preparar um cavalo. Eu preciso de um cavalo.
Uhum.
Porque, coincidentemente, foi 12 de fevereiro e nós estávamos no Brasil. E a gente casou no Brasil. Por isso, eles organizaram outra cerimônia de casamento com e fizemos uma surprise
You
for
got
him
your
with
horse.
the horse.
E agora que você falou a palavra-chave barbecue, Brazilian barbecue, gente, vocês não vão acreditar. O Chris já sabe fazer um churrasco brasileiro. E ele também tem uma versão adaptada do churrasco brasileiro. Chris, can you tell me the recipe? Maybe this time.
What do you do
Maybe
that's
this
different
time.
than Brazilian?
How do you do, like in a winter time, just like this?
Again, it's all about the preparation.
Right.
But he can't tell us, or he's
Ele
gonna
fala
have to
que é
tell us?
sobre a preparação.
Preparação.
É.
It's about
Honey,
the preparation, of course, the right amount of salt
Uh-huh.
versus
What is the meat for Brazilian
couple other
barbecue?
things.
What is the special meat? What is the name?
Qual que é o nome do corte da carne?
Picanha.
Picanha.
Picanha, ok.
Which is my favorite.
Picanha,
Picanha is
ok.
my favorite.
Picanha
I
é a
love
favorita
picanha, sim.
dele.
Ele
aham.
vai lá no...
Yeah.
And you can buy it here in America. Because
Uhum.
É,
you know what
você
you're looking
pode comprar nas lojinhas brasileiras.
Sim,
Açougues
sim.
brasileiros.
So-
a picanha.
So you didn't know Brazil at all,
for.
and you're very involved with Brazil now. But what was your first impression when you first got off the plane and you're in Brazil? And what were the things in the beginning that really added flavor to your relationship because she was Brazilian? What are some things that just really stood out for you?
So there's basically two things there, right? One, so talking about Brazil, one thing that really blew me away about Brazil was family.
O Paulo?
Então, peraí, só que o que a Kristen perguntou pro Chris agora que ele está mais envolvido na comunidade brasileira e que ele foi ao Brasil, o que mais impressionou quando ele chegou lá no Brasil? Então ele falou que são duas coisas. Primeiro é o tratamento das pessoas, a família, o povo brasileiro. So
And it's actually a very important thing to kind of really think about because
uma
the
coisa muito
family
importante
took
para
me
pensar.
in.
Family.
A família
Família.
aceitou ele dentro da.
Sometimes I feel like her mother treats me more like a son than her own
That's
children.
amazing.
Tem hora que eu sinto que a mãe dela me trata mais como filho do que a própria Cássia.
And it reminded me of a time, boy,
Me faz lembrar quando eu era criança.
Yeah, when we were kids.
When I was a child.
That's
Então
right.
fez
And
lembrar
that's
ele
what
da
she was talking about,
infância.
yeah.
Isso, faz lembrar dele da infância, como
Sim,
que o
você
povo
falou.
americano era.
Mas a gente
And
é mais
we've lost
frio. We're
this in
so cold.
America.
We're so cold compared to
yeah.
Brazil.
And I just remember thinking, it's like, Brazil reminds me of America the way it used to.
O Brasil lembrava da América, dos Estados Unidos como era antigamente.
And the thing, and it's unfortunate because so many people I know talk about these things as one of the things that America's lost. Not a good thing that we've lost it. Many
Então
people
muitos
talk about
americanos falam que é triste de saber que isso é algo que a família perdeu, né? As famílias americanas perderam. E é triste.
And what was the second thing?
Challenges.
Yes, and hard workers and
Os brasileiros trabalham duro.
they're not self people. Everybody helps each other. Everyone's helping each other. And the family is just whole unit's always talking. Just a much different.
Yeah, it's much warmer. And you
Much
live near your
warmer.
family.
Yeah,
It's
good way to
okay.
put it, yeah.
Here we're like, oh, you're a loser. But why not? Why
Yeah.
would you? It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing to live with your family, right?
Então, o Chris está falando que a segunda coisa também é sobre que os brasileiros, além de ser muito esforçados e trabalharem duro, eles não são egoístas, né? Eles ajudam aos outros, a unidade da família funciona melhor, eles estão sempre conversando, enfim, são mais unidos, né? E mais amorosos, digamos assim, carinhosos.
And lots of positive.
Lots of positive
Much more
people, yeah.
positive.
Much more positive.
Happier.
Yeah, happier.
Just
E
looking
os brasileiros são mais
at the
positivos,
positive in
mais
life and
felizes,
not letting the negative bring them down.
são mais
It doesn't matter
otimistas.
where you are,
And
where you're from,
you're
you got the negative.
e você é empreendedor, né? You're an entrepreneur also, right? Todos nós somos empreendedores e also you are her client.
Yes.
Interessante, homem que faz life coaching, como a Cristiane, né? E tell me now that you met Cassia, how your life has become integrated with Brazilians. Talk about your work, for example. You talked about hardworking Brazilians. So how does that work with your career in Brazilians?
You know, when Chris and I first met, helping me, kind of organize myself to be self-employed, and I would open a company, and I was looking for workers. I'm in solar, so right now I'm a general manager of home solar based right here. But at that time I opened up a company
Right,
with Brazilian
there's market.
salespeople.
Excelente.
hot
Então, o que o Chris está falando, né? A Kristen estava falando aqui que todos nós somos empresários. E o Chris, ele é eletricista e ele é especializado em eletricidade solar, né? Os painéis solares. E o sonho dele era também trabalhar por conta. Foi quando eles já estavam casados, a Cássia já tinha feito o processo de coaching comigo e ela falou, Chris, eu acho que o Chris vai ter muita serventia com os seus serviços. E aí a gente começou a programar como que seria ele abrir sua própria companhia. A gente foi criando passo a passo. E quando ele finalmente abriu a companhia dele, ele precisava de criar aí um grupo de trabalho. E ele decidiu que ele ia contratar brasileiros. Ele já sabia que tinha muitos brasileiros eletricistas. Enfim, então ele subcontratou esses brasileiros e montou uma equipe. Só que uma vez ele estava trabalhando para uma companhia e a companhia falou assim, olha, eu quero comprar a sua companhia. Então, o Chris aceitou a proposta, ele virou o gerente geral daquela companhia e ele trouxe todos os funcionários dele já brasileiros para trabalhar junto com ele. So, would you say that you're making the best of both worlds in this way, the way you put it up
For
together?
sure, yeah.
Então, o Chris, ele tá tirando aí o melhor dos dois mundos, né? Unindo a comunidade brasileira e, detalhe, a companhia dele é aqui em Gloucester.
Sim, eu concordo. Quando eu fui para o Brasil, eu era diretora de vendas e marketing para uma empresa novinha. Foi uma sucursal de uma empresa aqui nos Estados Unidos. E essa empresa tinha como 20 empresas mundialmente em vários países emergentes, Chile, China, Rússia, etc. E minha equipe não tinha experiência nenhuma. Eu não tinha orçamento bom para pagar bom. Eu tinha um grupo de brasileiros super novos, mas em 6 meses a gente ficou em segundo lugar mundialmente com vendas.
Wow.
Porque essa garra, I was explaining when I was in Brazil, I was the head of sales and marketing for a company that we opened in Brazil. And I had like really bad salespeople, like no experience. I didn't have a good budget. But in 6 months, they were number 2. The only team that beat them was the head team in the United States. So a matriz que ganhou confiança. E assim eu aprendi esse mito que o brasileiro só quer brincar, estar na praia. Isso é mentira. That's the stereotype, because we think like, oh, Brazilians are on the beach and they're playing soccer, but they really work really hard, very creative,
For sure, yeah.
right?
That's my experience. Yeah. And where some people say the day would end, just break.
That's amazing.
E o Chris está falando assim que o próximo nível também da companhia dele é não só trabalhar com essa equipe, mas também vender painéis, energia solar para a comunidade brasileira. E agora ele está falando assim, que é um mito, né? Ele falou assim, quando os brasileiros falam assim, ai, que bom, o dia acabou. Mas no dia seguinte está lá firme e forte para trabalhar de novo. Que legal. Uhum. E o que a gente trouxe aqui hoje, Kirsten, de comida?
Sim, bom, é uma coisa super simples e Cássia falou que já come bastante, né?
Sim, aprendi a
Maçã
comer.
com
Pinabara.
como se chama?
Pasta de amendoim.
Pasta de amendoim. Que vocês não têm em Brasil, mas vocês têm paçoca, né?
Temos paçoca.
Mas muito especial, muito melhor que o que trouxe que você hoje trouxe, ok? Uma delícia.
Gente, eu achei no Mercadinho Brasileiro ali em Somerville uma geleia de jabuticaba. Tem 22 anos morando aqui, eu nunca tinha visto essa geleia. E aí eu trouxe aqui para todos nós geleia de jabuticaba com a bolachinha de água e sal.
E você é de Minas Gerais, né? Come comida boa, né? E você levou ele para outros lugares em Brasil também? Where did you go in Brazil outside of
Nós
Minas?
fomos para São Paulo,
Yeah.
Yeah, São Paulo,
Brasília.
Rio,
Yeah.
Brasilia.
Yeah.
Like
Minas
Brasilia.
Gerais.
Lots of places.
What's your favorite place that you saw so far?
My favorite specific location or city?
Either one.
Yeah, you know what?
Brazil.
Brasilia was nice. I actually really liked
Where?
on
The farms.
going to
Oh, yeah.
the family's farms.
Yeah.
I,
Do you go to
Minas
coffee
Gerais.
plantations?
you know,
A lot of coffee.
Yeah. I mean,
Coffee tree.
her father had a
Sorry.
farm and took me around and he showed me everything, and then he brought me down to a river with like a piranha or crazy scary look. It's really cool to see the nature, the difference in nature, monkeys running around, stuff like that. I always thought that was the coolest because
Chicken pig.
I always wanted to see a monkey in the wild, and I got to do that.
A Kirsten perguntou pro Chris qual foi a localização, o lugar que ele mais gostou, e ele falou que o que ele mais gosta são as fazendas, as áreas rurais, né, de BH. Ele conheceu Brasília, São Paulo, Minas Gerais,
Rio?
Rio. Uau!
E engraçado que o sonho dele, quando eu conheci, ele achava que o Brasil só existia Rio de Janeiro e Carnaval.
Vendo.
Hoje ele já mudou de concepção. Brazil is not only Rio de Janeiro and Carnival anymore.
No, I always want to go to. Well, now I'm all set.
Right?
Ele sempre
foi-
quis ir pro carnaval,
Right?
mas nunca foi. E o que ele gostou, além das fazendas, é ver a natureza assim de pertinho, é ver os cavalos os macacos andando para um lado e para o outro, ver o peixe de pertinho, o pai da Cássia levando ele para conhecer lugares. Então, esse é o lugar favorito dele. As fazendas.
E ele conheceu o carnaval e não quer mais, não gostou.
Oh,
Ele
wow.
disse que carnaval é para pessoas solteiras novas. Ou seja,
So 2 questions we didn't ask in the previous show. 2 things. Talk about, você veio aqui já como massagista, né? Como
sim,
fazer massagem. E sua
eu
gêmea
comecei no
também, né?
Brasil.
Então você tem você tem a sorte, ou seja, fortuna que você veio sem fazer, por exemplo, coisas no restaurante ou que seja, você veio e você está fazendo a sua profissão, né?
No início, eu também fui para a área da limpeza, até eu conseguir dinheiro para pagar o meu curso aqui. Porque quando eu cheguei, tinha aquele trabalho. Então, a gente passa, né?
Sim, então fala sobre isso, fala
pelos
sobre esse
primeiros
balanço
meses.
entre fazendo o que a gente precisa fazer
Exatamente.
para sobreviver e sem perder nosso sonho. Como você
Mas,
fez essa...
Por eu ter esse dom e esse propósito de trabalhar cuidando das pessoas, eu não perdi o meu foco. Eu fiz o que foi preciso fazer até eu conseguir a oportunidade de estudar. Quando eu tive condições financeiras, eu fui para a escola de assistência e já fui conseguindo captar clientes, ter conexões e hoje, graças a Deus,
And how about you? What
bem
kind of...
satisfeito com as nossas.
So you have the luxury also, you have a woman who knows what she wants and she has her own profession and you said she's very organized. What kind of advice would you have for Brazilians that just came here so that, you know, they have to do what they have to get ahead in the beginning, to get by? But what kind of advice do you give for somebody that wants to be in business for themselves, do's and don'ts based on what you've gone through and based on your experience with immigrants from Brazil? What kind of advice would you like to
Don't
give?
lose faith.
Não, então, deixa eu só falar aqui. Então, a Kirsten está perguntando aqui quais seriam os conselhos, né, que o Chris teria para as pessoas que têm o seu sonho e que não sabem por onde começar ou como fazer isso, né? E para ter seu próprio negócio e ter foco nisso. E o Chris está falando ter fé.
And the first year is going to be very challenging.
O primeiro ano é sempre mais desafiador.
Get out of it what you put into it, but there's one thing that I've always learned from, and reading about very successful.
Uma coisa que eu sempre ouço sobre pessoas que são muito bem-sucedidas.
Whether it be Warren Buffett or pick someone successful throughout time.
Você
Any
pegar
country,
qualquer outra
anywhere,
pessoa
definitely,
bem-sucedida.
Everyone will tell you that they learn more from their failures than this.
Eles aprenderam muito mais sobre os seus fracassos do que com os seus sucessos.
When you come here, you will fail.
You will fail.
You will
Você
have
vai
challenges.
fracassar, você vai ter desafios.
And you will work, if you continue to work hard every day. In professional athletes, they call it daily grind.
Yep.
You grind it every day.
Grind it every day.
And before you know it, you look back in time, be amazed how far you've
Ele está falando assim, mesmo que se a gente pegar aí os atletas, as pessoas, né, bem-sucedidas, realmente a gente aprende muito mais com os fracassos do que o sucesso, para não ter medo dos fracassos. E que é trabalho duro com consistência para chegar. Então vai chegar uma hora que você olhar para trás e falar, uau, onde que eu cheguei? Hoje eu tive essa impressão. I had this impression today. I'm like, really?
Wow.
I'm gonna go do a TV show with my clients? And like, we did the vision board together, like
That's
not
amazing.
far ago. And, I'm like, whoa, I was
That's
like blown
amazing.
up. And as
Eu também falei, uau, porque a gente tinha outra visita planejada que não podia. E eu falei, eu vou para Puerto Vallarta amanhã, vou viajar, Cristiane. A gente não vai fazer o programa hoje. E de repente ela falou, não, mas vem Cássia com o número. Eu falei, uau!
Sim, é exatamente isso que o Chris está falando. É você não perder esse sonho, né, como a casa, como nós todos aqui já falamos, é ter esse sonho, ter esse objetivo, não perder o foco, é trabalho de formiguinha muitas vezes, tem frustração, mas é não desistir, é foco o tempo todo.
And my last 2 questions, and I'm sure she has one, is first question, how often do you go back to Brazil? And the other question for you is, conselhos também, se para alguém que quer achar um marido como desse, and how to find a woman like this, what advice do you give to people out there that are like Cassia was, or like you were saying, oh, I really want to find that person? Quais
Então,
as dicas?
tá, a Kirsten está perguntando quantas vezes eles vão ao Brasil, e a outra é quais as dicas para encontrar, né, o seu amado, a sua amada. Então, ouça a voz da experiência.
We go back once a year.
A gente vai lá no Brasil uma vez no ano.
My best advice to find a woman or a man or anyone.
A minha
Think
melhor
about who
dica.
you want.
He's
Think
a
about-
teacher for
think-
this question.
Right?
He loves to say something like that.
Yes,
We
I
could do a matchmaking event, and we could do like a workshop. He could give a workshop how to be a good husband.
Yeah.
Right?
Ele ama
One
dar
thing I
esses
learned
conselhos.
as a single
Oh.
man,
Mas precisamos falar sobre o halls novamente.
Yeah. Mas peraí.
Okay, wait.
one thing I learned as a single man,
Uhum.
I decided I wanted a good woman,
Uhum.
and the model of woman that I presented, woman with high standards, I had to pick myself.
Oh,
Ok. Então,
nice.
olha só o que o Chris está falando. Primeiro, você precisa ter em mente o que você quer, né? Então, para quem está solteiro aí, ele é professor. A Cássia falou que ele é professor nisso, ama dar conselhos. Então, tenha em mente o que você quer. E aí, ele teve em mente, né, a mulher dos sonhos dele. E aí, o que aconteceu quando ele achou a mulher dos sonhos dele? Ele teve que se trabalhar para aumentar
Ela
ainda
tinha
mais
muitos padrões
expectativas.
altos.
Ela tem um padrão alto e aí ele teve que se melhorar. E é uma coisa que a gente fala, né? Quando o que você deseja do homem e o que você imagina que esse homem com essa mulher deseja de você. Então você tem que se tornar essa pessoa para
To become a
atrair
that you want
para match.
To
Yeah,
be the person to
If
meet.
you,
Yeah.
if you want a wonderful person, well, you have, there
Gotta
are
be a
certain
wonderful
things.
person,
Yeah.
right?
So, and another thing is, don't ever forget the power of communication.
E
Right.
a
Cassia's
Segredo.
story about
I
our
teach
first
him.
date.
Ele aprendeu do fracasso dele. Não minimize a primeira apresentação.
Because I found, and this does not align with Cassia's story of our first date,
Ok.
but there is more to that story.
Ok.
But what I will say is that what I found is just, I remember thinking, I am a good, got a lot of the, but I didn't show them. I was quiet. I kept them to myself. The way you present yourself in the first
Very
meeting, the
powerful.
first discussion,
Uau.
is very
Very powerful.
important.
He did this for proposal.
And
Ok.
one more thing.
Não, deixa eu traduzir, peraí. Então, o Chris está falando aqui que talvez a Cássia não concorde. Mas é que ele sabia que dentro dele, ele era um excelente homem, um bom homem. Ele tinha muita coisa para dar. Só que, ao mesmo tempo, ele não mostrou isso na aparência. E que isso é um fator importante. Ele aprendeu com o...
Mas eu consegui ler entre as linhas
Ah,
e me
olha,
apaixonei
nossa.
pela primeira vez. E
Yeah.
cada dia que passa, eu tenho certeza que ele é o homem da minha vida. Ele é a pessoa que eu quero pra mim.
And one more question.
Every day, I realize my
Mhm. And every day,
E somos todos clientes de um e outro, porque a gente faz negócio com nossos amigos. Mas você é cliente da Cris também. Tell us how you became Christianity's client. It's very impressive to see a man
oh yes.
having a life coach. So why did you decide to do this? And when did you first start getting help from Chris?
I think it was just I was at a point in my career that I felt like there was a lot of change in my life.
But he was
we
looking
were-
for me. I
Mhm.
was working with her very well.
Yeah, and she had a great experience, and
Yes.
it was for me. What Chris could help me organizing my thoughts, my
He's great.
goals, where I am now, where I want to be, and what's that roadmap? You know what I mean? And so much going on, and sometimes life gets you
Yeah.
in a
Yeah,
little bit of a circle, a little
Yes.
bit of a hurricane, right?
Mhm.
So I was able to kind of step back, and anytime you're in something,
Yep.
it's harder to see than if you were to step out. And what Chris did, let me kind of step out and take a look, organize, and then I was able to put.
Do men
get
ever
back
say
where I want- the
anything?
direction.
To you about life coaching? Like you recommend other men
Oh, yeah.
have like a life coach like Christianity? You would tell them that, but
Sure,
do they ever think
if
you're like
if you're in a position, there's nothing actually very intelligent thing
right?
to
It's
do.
very right.
Because
Everybody needs
But not all men know that.
If you think you know everything, the only thing you learned is you really know as much as
Exactly.
you know. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs a little focus. Whatever is going on in life.
Right,
sometimes,
right,
you know?
right.
Eu falo isso
Então,
para as
que
minhas
Kirsten,
clientes,
não
que
é?
todos nós precisamos de ter um
Todos
life
nós.
coach.
Uhum.
E o meu marido foi muito ajudado pela Cris. Até
Então-
nos entendermos melhor.
Uhum.
O meu tempo, ele respeitar o meu tempo, eu respeitar o tempo dele.
É o life coach, né? A vida por
Yes,
life
you
coach. It's like
respect your
involves
time,
the
you
whole
respect
life.
your time.
O que a Kirsten perguntou pro Chris é assim, por que você decidiu procurar a Cris? O Chris decidiu procurar a Cris para ter life coach e que não é muito comum, né? Realmente a maioria,
Os
eu
homens.
diria que 90% dos meus clientes são mulheres. E sim, eu atendo os homens e eu acho fantástico atender homens. E aí a Kirsten falou assim, por que você foi procurar ela? Né, o que te moveu para procurar ajuda? E aí o Chris falou que ele estava numa fase na carreira dele que ele estava confuso, que ele queria abrir o próprio negócio, mas ele estava com os pensamentos muito misturados. Enfim, ele precisava de alguém que é muito mais fácil a gente olhar para um problema. Quando a gente está passando pelo problema, a gente não consegue enxergar muitas coisas. Agora, quando você dá um passo para trás e aí você tem uma outra pessoa olhando as mesmas questões, né, com ferramentas, né, te dá novas ideias, novos olhares. Então, que foi muito importante na vida dele para ele ter se organizar de como criar um passo a passo, criar uma mapinha, um mapa de ação para fazer o que ele queria. Então, aí a Cristina perguntando assim, você recomendaria outros homens, outras pessoas também a fazer life coach? Ele falou, sim, todos nós precisamos, né, de ajuda, né? E é isso que eu falo também para meus clientes. Assim, a vida, ela é muito complexa e ela dá voltas e tem fases na nossa vida que realmente dá uma confusão. E eu também não estou imune disso. Quando eu preciso de ajuda, eu vou lá procurar ajuda de um outro profissional. Então, tem fases da nossa vida, transições que fica tudo muito obscuro. Então, poder pedir ajuda, saber que existe alguém que vai te ajudar, que tem ferramentas, é muito bom.
Você é uma
E, na
ideia.
verdade, é uma coisa muito inteligente de fazer, que ele falou.
E, finalmente, vamos fazer, Cássia e Cristiane vai me ajudar com a comida. Vamos fazer uma festa junina na minha casa, no meu backyard, mas é o Chris que vai fazer o barbecue. We're going to do festa junina. You've done the festa junina in June, right? Where they, especially in Minas, they have all these little foods like canjica. Vai ser um pouquinho esquisito que vai fazer calor aqui, mas vamos. We can make fake snow.
Gente, é isso que acontece no programa quando você tem duas amigas que são fora da curva. É milhões de ideias ao mesmo tempo. A gente já tá falando de festa junina.
Let's go.
Já,
Olha lá,
né?
ela já
Okay.
aceitou, já temos uma festa de matchmaking,
Barbecue.
já temos um churrasco.
E você sabe fazer canjica, né? Todos.
Gente, me ajuda, por favor, me tira daqui.
We're gonna have a big
Não,
party.
mas não é, né? Eu só quero relaxar, eu não quero mais trabalho.
I love to eat.
I love to eat too.
Yes.
I'll buy all the ingredients. You cook it. I'll eat it, and we'll sing.
What about house?
And we'll oh wait, we got. Oh my goodness, wait. Vamos
A última coisa.
A última coisa que é muito importante.
Can I have a house?
Sim, mas deixa eu explicar para os brasileiros, porque antes nós estamos falando inglês. Brasileiras, só que vocês sabem, quando alguém te vem com house, aí só sentido. O você e o Elias são doentinhos. Tem gripe, ok? O sabor de house para nós nos lembra de minha infância. É uma coisa de doença só. Porém, em Brasil...
Gente, em Brasil
Sim.
é quando você
E conta.
tá num encontro com alguém, depois de comer, de jantar, e você, né, pensa em dar um beijo na boca mais tarde, a gente carrega sempre um house na bolsa. E eu fiz isso, né, no Brasil e aqui.
She
A
always
gente
has a
traz a
house in the back
cultura
pocket
pra cá também.
for the date.
Por vários dates eu andei fazendo isso. E só um dia, quando eu entreguei uma balinha para uma colega de trabalho, que eu trabalhava no building, e ela nunca tocou a balinha. Eu coloquei outra balinha e as balinhas continuaram lá. E aí eu falei, você não gosta, né, do house? Eu te dei. Ela falou assim, mas eu não tô doente, tô gripada. E aí que eu descobri que o house é pra quem tá com dor de garganta,
E vou levar para meu marido em casa. But tell us what happened for you.
Mas pra
When
mim,
she brought out
todo
the
dia
Halls.
é dia de chupar uma balinha Halls. Não é só quando eu estou doente.
Pretty
Sim.
confusing moment.
O Chris falou que
Because at
quando
that time her English
quando-
wasn't that great, right?
Oh yeah, this was still in the
early
Google
stage.
Translate stage.
Yeah. O Chris falou que quando a Cássia deu a primeira balinha para ele falou assim que achou muito estranho, foi muito esquisito.
I had no idea why she was giving me Halls. And I asked her. And she used
E até hoje ela sempre tem Halls na bolsa para você, né? She always has her Halls in the back
I
pocket
still
for
have
you.
my Halls
Yes.
every day at home.
I'm not sure
Ela
why.
continua levando.
Completely
Mas é
helpless.
isso, gente. É uma alegria ter tido vocês aqui. Muito obrigada. It was
Nossa,
we had a great time. Thank
Yeah.
you for coming.
Oh,
This
thank
is
you
like
very
a
much.
pleasure
Yeah.
to us. This is a dream coming true.
Yes, and
Yeah.
it
Né,
makes
é um
us happy
sonho
to
sendo
see that much
realizado.
love and joy. So it's
Gente,
great.
e acreditem, brasileiro com americano
Funciona, tá vendo?
Ah,
É um
e-
mito, é uma
detalhe,
crença limitante.
Eu incentivo e inspiro todos para ir para o aplicativo. Tem que ter paciência e fé.
Aham.
Criar as oportunidades, lógico. Você vai encontrar o seu amor
É
no
isso,
aplicativo online.
Excelente.
E
Gente,
joguem.
é isso. Então, agradecemos mais uma vez aí pela presença, pela companhia, né? Se inscreve aqui no nosso canal e vem aprender aqui como que a gente pode unir, né? Integrar a comunidade brasileira e americana e fazer o melhor dos dois mundos.